Here's what grad school really should have taught me. Welcome to my channel. I am Jennifer, aka Jenna Grace. I am a full-time school counselor and life coach, and I really wanted to make this a video about what grad school should have taught me. I'm an alma mater to Brooklyn College. Funny that I'm wearing this hat today. I actually loved going to Brooklyn College for grad school. I am from New York City, so I went to Brooklyn College for school counseling. And after being a school counselor for the past 9 years, there are just certain things that I did not take with me from grad school. So in order to be a school counselor, you need your master's in school counseling. When I was going, I graduated with a 48 credit master's, had to go back for the 12 more to make the 60. And you know, they taught us the theories, things like that. The best thing that I think grad school taught me was about myself and about getting rid of any biases or anything that may hold me back while I'm counseling children. But the key things that I wish they would have taught, because no. So first and foremost, I wish in grad school that there was a class called Colleague Admin Interaction 101, because the time that I have gotten looked up and down, talked about, pretty much cursed at in text messages, and have been part of super unprofessional conversations is just wild to me. And when I first started, I was 25, so I wanted to be liked, I wanted to do the right thing, I wanted to learn, and I wanted people that I, you know, could trust. But I wish in grad school they would have taught you, you know, how not to care so much about what people thought of you, because it doesn't matter. They all started somewhere, you know? So I wish that that was more of like a maneuvering kind of class where you're gonna come in, you're young, people are gonna look at you like you don't know what you're talking about, and that's okay. You know, you also don't have to trust everyone that is giving you advice, because not all advice is good advice. You know, when I first came into certain schools, it was like, oh, don't look at that one, like, you know, don't believe what they say, like, be careful about all this. And in reality, thank God I gave everyone a good first shot of like seeing me for me, because I ended up making like really great connections with teachers who are deemed not so nice to everybody. And so yeah, I really wish they would teach you the art form of knowing the game, maybe not playing it, but know how to play it, if that makes sense. Because you should know the game. At the end of the day, school is also an institution and changes every time there's probably a new political figure around, and it's also a who you know, who's who, and how to get what you want, how you want. So although you're going to become, you know, having a job in a school is also being part of a community, and you need to learn how to do that. And you know, sometimes the adults, not sometimes, most of the time the adults are worse than the kids. So having someone to teach me how to maneuver that in a way where they had nothing to do with the school or work there would have been pretty helpful. The next thing I wish grad school would have taught me was how to professionally say no. When you are first coming into the position, like I said, you want to be liked, you want to do all these things. And the other thing is, you starting off so young, you don't know where you're going to be 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 5 years from now. When I started, I was single, I had no children, I lived on my own, and so, you know, a lot of the times staff did ask me to do things that other staff who may have had families, I wouldn't normally do. You know, staying late for a school dance, or coming in on the weekend to help out, or going on a school trip. I remember, you know, a teacher telling me, oh, you could go, you don't have kids, you're single. But I have a life. So you know, and looking back at it now, I should have just been like, what? Naturally I'm easygoing, so I didn't take anything, you know, personal. But what happens is the first time you say yes to something, that is your job forever without you realizing it. So although you want to, you know, do things outside of the normal, you know, day-to-day tasks, just be mindful that you do it once, you offer yourself once, they're gonna expect it forever, just forever. So I think how to professionally say no is a big thing, you know, especially because as school counselors, we don't just have one job. We're not just seeing mandated students. You know, we're doing so many other projects that I think staff thinks we don't do much, maybe because we're always in our office, or, you know, I don't know what the case may be in other schools. So saying no professionally, especially to admin, because I know sometimes we're scared, we think like, oh, they're gonna like get us somewhere else, but saying no professionally is key. I've been asked more than once, hey, can you call this parent? I turn back and say, well, have you called the parent? What have you done? So that then I can support you in that. I'm not totally saying no, but I am saying no because for one part of it, you know, it's like you need to call because whatever issue happened in your class, and then I'll just support you. Or other times could be, hey, I would love to do that, but right now I have, you know, 3 things that take priority. When I'm done with that, I can circle back with you. Or honestly, at the end of the day, say no. What's like, as long as it's, and when I say no, professionally saying no, I mean like in tasks that has nothing to do with you. You know, so for example, I'm the bilingual school counselor at my job. There have been plenty of times where staff ask me to translate. You know, if I can, I can, and if I can't, I can't. That's what a translator line is for. So you also have to choose and pick your battles where you want, because people will get used to you doing things for them. So the next one would be so not playing the game, but knowing the players and the rules. That may sound weird. Let me try and explain. So in every school, there's like a clique, believe it or not. And so you have to learn as a school counselor how to be in a equal dynamic, right? Because not only do the students trust you, that some teachers will, and so will admin. So you have to figure out how you're going to maneuver and being an equal part for everybody. I have students tell me things, I have teachers, parents, admin, and I somehow I try to not interlock any of them because they trust me. And you know, the other thing too is like, you'll have haters at work, like it is what it is. So you have to figure out how to play the game without playing it, if that makes sense. Because like I said, every school has its clique. It's a who's who you know. And to be honest, the people who work in the school system, we know each other. Like, it's a lot smaller than people think. So I would say if you're starting off new, I would go into your school and kind of sit back for a couple months. At least that's what I did. I kind of sat back, not like don't do your job, but I sat back, I watched the dynamics, I watched like the type of students that were there. I saw, you know, who was who and who really had, you know, a presence in the school. And then I chose to make changes based off of who I am. So I suggest you see what you're working with before you just dive deep in and thinking you're just gonna change the world. The other thing I wish grad school would have taught us is how to talk to parents without being a parent. So I'm not a parent. I think I have a really unique level because I understand what it is. I understand how it is to be a kid, and I understand, for example, why some parents are stricter than others. And so I can kind of talk to kids and let them know like, hey, your parents only doing this because of XYZ. But I find it challenging sometimes when parents do ask me, are you a parent? You know, do you have kids? How would you do it? And I think because I am so young looking, if I do say so myself, it becomes a challenge because the parents may look at you like you don't know what you're talking about, you don't have kids. So I think I wish maybe there was a workshop or something where in grad school, you know, parents could have came in, or just having, you know, teachers as parents come in and say, hey, like, when you become a school counselor, I want you to support me in this way, or you can talk to me this way, you know, because we don't know how it is to not have kids. And so yeah, I wish I would have been taught that parents will look at you a different way if you're not a parent. Also, the one thing that really blew minds for me was that parents were my age. So when I started, I was like 25, maybe 26, 27, going up there. Like, they're like, oh yeah, you're my mom's age. And they're like 12. And I'm like, wow, I don't have kids. Like, I can't, that's crazy to me. So that was a big shock. Another course that I wish grad school would have taught is how to deal with selectively mute children. We got a lot of them this year, and at first I really thought, oh, what, I don't know anything, like what am I gonna do, how am I gonna get them to talk to me? And getting them to talk to you is really not the goal. We'll talk verbally, I would say, because they do communicate. So I think I wish I would have had more resources when it comes to selectively mute children, because it was a struggle for me. I'm getting the hang of it, but it really was a struggle. And you know, that's with any type of special ed situation. I really wish, like, there's a class on it, but I wish they would have gone more in on how to support those children. Another thing I wish they would have taught in grad school was how to use the systems within the school. So this is different, I'm sure, across the United States. In New York, we use certain things to record mandated students, that we service them, or logging in things, and that just takes time and practice. But I wish someone would have came in, and that's things that you learn on the job, like, or an internship. But I do find that not a lot of school counselors like to take on interns. When I have interns, I show them everything. So I wish they would have been more open about, you know, showing us the system and how to log and maneuver that. Last but not least, I really wish grad school would have taught us how not to take things personal. How not to take what kids say personal, what parents say personal, what staff says personal, because at the end of the day, we're all human and we really take that in. You know, I know a lot of people struggle with self-doubt in their job, and they struggle with feeling like they didn't do enough, or they just are not doing a good job. And I really wish there was a class where they taught you how to really keep a positive mindset when you get a school counselor position. And again, that comes with the territory. That's something that you have to do on your own. And I just think, although they teach you the mechanics of school counseling, they don't teach you all of the extras around it. And so not taking it personal is a really big deal. I know sometimes, you know, teachers can say things out of spite, or admin, or students. I've gotten cursed out plenty of times. But I use everything as a teachable moment. So I love to share to students, like, hey, like, that hurt my feelings. I don't do that to you, so don't do it to me. And I think it's okay to show some sort of vulnerability to your students. I know growing up, I thought my teachers, like, they had no life outside of this. Thought they were all like just hidden somewhere after work, or, you know, if I saw them in the supermarket, I would dodge, because I didn't feel a type of, I don't want to say, you know, equalness, because we're not equal, but of a humanity feeling. And I think it's okay to like tell kids, hey, I feel stuff too, I go through things too, and if you want to be respected, so do I. And I think it's okay to show some type of vulnerability. I think the kids see you for that and they'll look out for you. But yeah, not taking it personal, because at the end of the day, everyone's dealing with something different, and you bring that to work, unfortunately. So if there's any advice I can give a new school counselor, is to please do not take it personal, especially with children, because they're still learning. I'm in a middle school, and I know that, you know, obviously our brains are not developed probably until we're 25. So what makes you think that you should really take to heart a millisecond of an outburst from a student? You know, of course, over time it gets a lot, but I don't want you to feel that that is who you are and that's what they think of you. And so and that goes for admin too. Like, we don't know what our admin has to deal with. We don't know what issues arise at school, because sometimes we just don't know what's going on except for what's happening in our office or during crisis. But do not take it personal. Like, that is the biggest thing that I could tell a new school counselor. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna do more videos like this. I'm gonna do one about burnout, ways to help with burnout, and other topics, because I want to get into more of the career part for my YouTube. So if you like this and you want to add anything, add it in the comments, or tell me maybe another video you want me to do, or discuss like how I got into school counseling, any of those topics. I'm down to do a video about it. I love sharing my journey. So thank you for watching. If you watched the whole way through, again, subscribe to my channel and comment below anything you want me to talk about. Hope you have a good work week.